show is all about discussing topics that aren't discussed enough in our community or are spoken about from the older generation. We feel this platform can help many people understand what goes on in the life of teenagers and their perspectives. We will also want to introduce more topics on our show that you guys might be interested. We will really be we really appreciate it.
To call in, our telephone number is 01902 972 150. And if you would like to text any messages, text on our WhatsApp number 074 40 420 432. But remember, you cannot call on WhatsApp.
Last week, we started a new series on the topic of options for GCSEs. If you are interested in learning the basics to what options are, how to choose the subjects for your exams and our experiences, please watch our previous episode, which is on our Facebook page, and listen to us live on Ramadan Radio Wolves app. You can go on that via the website www.ramadanradiowolves.com and also www.radio.net.
So, today we are continuing on our series all about options. At the end of Key Stage 3, you will be asked to choose your GCSE subjects. Today we will be discussing different options in depth to see if any of them may interest you. Overall, our aim is just to give you guys some advice.
So, the first one we will be talking about is arts and design. Why choose GCSE art and design? If you enjoy being creative, want to increase your practical skills and improve on analytical communication and research abilities, art and design is a great choice. The skills you gain make it great to complement the other subjects.
Art and design is a way of seeing things and making sense of the world around you. It can help you with further studies and prepare you for the world of work.
What will you study? Depending on your school, you will study at least one of these. Art, crafts and design. This is a general introduction to the study of art, crafts and design. You will look at different approaches to art and use lots of different media, techniques and materials. You are required to study 2 or more of the titles below.
So one of the topics you will study is fine art. Fine art explores ideas, conveys experiences, or responds to a theme or issue of personal significance, and the areas of study are very broad and cover drawing, painting, sculpture, installation, and mixed media.
Graphic communication. Learn how to design visual materials to convey information, ideas, meaning, and emotions in response to give a self-defined brief. Areas to study include communication graphics, advertising, branding, packaging design, typography, and motion graphics.
Another topic you might want to study is textile designs. In textile designs, you get a chance to design products for woven, knitted, stitched, printed, or decorative textiles. Areas of study include fashion design and illustration, costume design and constructed textiles, printed and dyed textiles, and digital textiles.
3-dimensional design. The design, prototyping and modelling or making of products, objects and environments using intellectual, creative and practical skills. Areas of study could include sculpture, product design, jewellery design and 3D digital design.
So the next one you could study is photography. In photography, you can produce images using light-sensitive materials such as photographic film or digital methods of development and production to create static or moving images. Areas of study could include portraiture, installation, photojournalism, moving images, film, video and animation, and fashion photography.
So when we were both in year 8, which was the year we chose our options, we were given a booklet to look through which gave us so much detail about what we will study, what the topic would cover, and how everyone will be assessed based on the subject. So for photography, it is a full subject for art and design. And so the things that they include in photography are location photography, studio photography, experimental imagery, installation, documentary photography, photojournalism, moving images such as film, video, and animation, and also fashion photography. So now we will go on to how it can be assessed. So there are always two components. Component 1 is a portfolio. You must produce a sustained project and select a further work that represents the course of the study. This is worth 60% of your overall mark.
Then component 2. This is an externally set assignment. So there's a separate externally set task paper for each title. It features 7 tasks and you have to complete one of them. You get preparation time plus 10 hours of supervised times, and this is worth 40% of your total mark.
Art and design can open doors for a lot of careers. Some of these are theatre designer,
Animator,
interior designer,
hair and makeup design,
exhibition designer,
and jewelry design,
and architecture. So many of these are things that many people do want to do when they're older. Sometimes you know from a younger age that this is what you want to do because you have a really creative side to you. Other times it comes later in life when you aren't exposed to it earlier on. And then you think, oh, I would really like to do some things like that.
So you can. So there's two different, because there's photography and art and design. These are two different GCSEs in our school, and that could be the same for many other schools.
Yes, many of the topics of art and design that we've said are separate. However, not all of them are available to everybody.
So let's say you like textiles and you like photography, but your school only offers art and design. You could take the art and design course and it may involve some of the topics inside it.
So when it comes to the assessment, there are 4 objectives that you need to focus on, which are develop, refine, record ideas, and present the final outcome. So these 4 points are really broad and bold points that they have given. So the first one obviously is when you first come up with the idea and see what you want to do.
Yeah, because that's the first step in it, and that's probably the hardest thing, trying to think of a design.
Yeah, and like from my experience, because I take textiles, always the first step is the hardest, and then when it comes to developing, it gets slightly easier. Then the next step is to refine. So this means to have your your final outcome, which is your final design for anything, if that's clothes or products.
And that means like it takes a lot of time to practice and redo what product or design you're making over and over again till you get it perfect.
Yeah, and many people sometimes get unmotivated because they've done so many tries and they haven't seemed to got it right. But the more you try, the more experience and knowledge you get.
Yeah, definitely. Because in art, you're exposed to lots of different medias, things that you haven't even seen before, and things that seem so difficult. And then you'd always think to yourself, why do people even use these things? They're so boring, or they're really hard. Because when things are hard for you, you just automatically think, oh, this is boring, I don't want to do this. But when you try at something and you actually research more about what you're doing, it can improve, because the more you spend time on it, the more practice you get and the better you become.
And so the third point was record ideas. So this is when you kind of have your final product, and you can record it, draw it, write it down, and do whatever you want to for like annotations. But many people, what they do is from their failed attempts, they just throw it away.
Yes,
but
they do.
What they should do, or what is good to do and to keep in mind, is to always keep all the things that you have not really like
your previous drafts.
Yeah, and so with those there in front of you, you can see so many different ideas that might
Yeah.
come to your mind. You might want to mix and match different things
Exactly, yeah.
that you've drawn or you've studied about, and so it becomes a lot easier.
Yeah, and at the end, you can look back on it and you can see your whole journey of improvement, and that could really motivate you to carry on and practice more.
Yes, and so the final point of the objectives is to present the final outcome. Now, it's all good to have a brilliant drawing, an idea, but the presentation is so important.
It really is.
The way you present it to your teachers, if that's on a PowerPoint or just talking, it's so important that you get the right message across so they actually understand all the hard work that you put in. I think it would be really a shame if you put so much effort,
Definitely.
but the way you've presented it makes the teachers feel like you haven't. And so that is a really big step to get the grade and the thing that you want to do.
Yeah, because in art and design, what you get is a sketchbook. And then what you do is you work on both sides of the open book. And so you make your work pieces like over a few weeks. And then the most important part is presenting it. Like when I did art, we had loads of lessons on just presenting it. And so what you need to take in account is the background. It has to reflect your artist that you're taking inspiration from. And then it also needs to have some annotation, some words. It has to always have some words about the artist itself. And the most important part that you might not even think about is the title. The title was always like the hardest part, I feel like, for me, because you always think of like bubble writing and then that's it, but there's so many different things that you can do to make your work stand out. Because I feel like because everyone's doing the same artist, you just need to make your work stand out. So taking in account of how you present it always helps to give you a boost.
Yeah, that's really nicely put together. So everyone knows exactly how important that like tiny aspects are.
Exactly. I never knew about that before I actually did it.
Yeah. And so with this booklet that we were given with our options is there's a section where it says which other subjects complement art and design and what courses could it process to. Now this one I think is really nice because if you kind of choose this subject, it kind of gives you other options if you don't want to do this one specifically, or if there's another one that you find more interesting. So with art photography, what they've said is that you can also look at film studies, which our school did.
Yes, our school did
allow
a whole option.
And you can do design and other expressive art courses. And so with this, it gives you such a big variety of options.
Yeah, it does. Because it's not only you taking art to become an artist, you can do so much more. You can make film sets. You can, like how we said, you can make jewelry, architecture. Like architecture is such a big job, and you might think art wouldn't like benefit that, like only maths and that, but art and design does help. Okay, so the next option we're going to talk about is business. So GCSE Business Studies is designed for students finishing secondary school to learn skills of running a business, such as managing money, advertising, and employing staff.
What will you study? The specifications, which are the topics that you are tested on in business, all depend on your exam board, but within them there are a few topics which all exam boards will include, which are
marketing, which is where you learn about how to identify and understand customers. You will learn about how to carry out market research, product price, promotion, and place.
Finance, source of finance, business, grown, cash flow, and analysing the financial performance of a business.
And human resources, where you will learn about recruitment, training, motivation, organisational structures, and the interdependent nature of business.
By taking business for GCSEs, you will learn how to understand business concepts, business terminology, business objectives, the integrated nature of business activities, and the impact of businesses on individual and wider society.
You will learn how to apply knowledge and understanding to contemporary business issues and to different types and sizes of businesses in local, national, and global contexts.
Use an inquiry, critical approach to make informed judgments.
And you will learn how to investigate and analyse real business opportunities and issues to construct well-argued, well-evidenced, balanced and structural arguments.
And finally, develop and apply quantitative skills relevant to the business, including using and interpreting data.
So how will you be assessed? Business consists of 2 externally examined papers. The paper is divided into 3 sections: Section A, which is 35 marks, Section B, which is 30 marks, and Section C, which is 25 marks.
Now, the way that you will be assessed will differ from every exam board.
Yes, definitely.
As every exam board chooses to do it differently. So with our school, what the criteria is that you will get 2 units of work. Unit 1 will be 50% of your exam in total. That will be investigation into a small business. So you will need to do your own investigation and present it.
Yeah.
And that will count for 50% of your marks. Unit 2 will be the other 50%, which is building a business. So both of the papers specifically will consist of calculations, multiple choice, short answers, and extended writing questions. So as well as doing your investigation and building a business, which is coursework, you will also, within those specific papers, get the whole variety of different questions.
Yeah, I feel like business is really nice to do because in some options you only do like certain aspects of it in year 10 and then some different ones in year 11. But with business, I feel like you do the same throughout because most of the things we've talked about, I feel like we've already done in year 10.
Yes.
Like making a presentation on a business. So the fact that we've already done it, we already know a lot about this.
Yes, and it's so important that you kind of know how it feels like.
Yeah, definitely.
When you're doing the first year of your option. So it's like you get a clear view of whether you do want to carry it on or not.
Because in some different options, you'll feel like, oh, I don't want to do this. But then you realise in year 11, that's what you want to do.
So on our booklet, as I said, that they have given a section where it tells you which subjects complement business and what courses could it process to. So here there are quite a few which are really good, which I didn't think of. So there's maths, which is quite obvious because you can go into business finances and business statistics. I think many people who do like math do go into either banking, accounting, or even business on the accountancy side. Yeah. Then there is also English, which is marketing of products and services. I think some people do forget with business, you do need to know quite a good vocabulary of English.
Yeah, because you're always like speaking out, doing presentations, lots of that.
Yeah, and even with investors, with really important people who you do need to get on your side.
Yeah,
English
have contacts and all of it.
Yeah, English is really important. So another subject is design technology, as we have covered. So new product development and marketing. So design technology as a whole is the creation of products.
Yes.
It's your own influence on the product that you make.
Yeah.
And so with a business, if it's something from scratch that you've come up with, product design is so important to actually create what you want.
And with making a business, there's so many different aspects that actually go into it. And there's a math side where you have to do all the finance. And also with the design technology, you also need to do about the advertisement and all of that, which is not really like when you think of business, you don't really think, oh, quickly you have to find an advertisement, you need to do graphic design. And there's lots of things that actually go into it. Yeah. And making a team to actually get that together.
So another subject, sorry, that complements with business is food technology, which is consumer laws and marketing mix.
Yeah.
So many people do want to go in the food industry with business. There's so many popular and massive brands
Yeah.
that have come out and branched off into many different places. I think the very popular ones would be like McDonald's,
Yeah, food
KFC,
chains.
Pizza Hut. And so with those, actually starting and developing that,
Yeah.
you do need to know the consumer laws
Yeah.
for everybody who will come to your
Yeah,
place.
obviously, because in business, because if you're making a food place, you need to think about where you're actually putting it to see if you're going to get the best results there. And in business, you do learn a lot about food chains, which are very important.
Yes, and the final subject is geography. So business location,
Yeah,
as we
exactly.
said, changing product and employment pattern, and
Yeah.
international aspect of business. So I think, as we both mentioned with the
Mhm.
food one, with business location to get your best customers, best like
There's like lots of people living close so that they don't have to
yeah.
travel far and that they can be on time so you can get everything running smoothly. I feel like you need that.
Yes, and also with the international aspect of business,
Yes.
as your food chain gets bigger and bigger, you would be thinking of maybe spreading out, branching,
Mhm.
maybe not even out of the country, just in a different
cities,
area. It's really important to know the geographics around the
yeah,
place.
definitely. Should we do a little recap?
hmm
Okay, so far we've talked about two different options, which are art and design, which contains like photography and textiles, and we've talked about business. So in art and design, we've talked about why you should choose art and design. A few reasons are if you enjoy being creative or want to increase your practical skills, improve your analytical communication and research abilities, art and design could be a great choice for you.
We've also spoke about the different types of art that you can go into. So there was arts, crafts and design. There was fine art, graphic communication, textile design, three-dimensional design and photography.
And we've also spoken about how you'll be assessed. So there's two components. Component one is a portfolio. You produce a sustained project and a selection of further work that represents the course of study, and this is worth 60% of your overall mark.
We spoke about the different careers that you can go into when you take art and design, which is a theatre designer, animator, interior designer, hair and makeup design, exhibition design, jewelry design, and architecture.
And in business, we talked about why you could study it, which is because business studies is designed for students who want to learn skills for running a business, such as managing money, advertising, and employing staff.
We also spoke about by taking business, you'll learn so many different new skills.
Yeah. And shall I just redo the number? So our WhatsApp number is 07440420432. That is 07440420432. And our telephone number is 01902 972 150. 01902 972 150. Remember, you cannot call on WhatsApp.
So thank you guys for listening. We hope that you'll stay till after the break. So what we will be covering
After the
break will be computer science, and computer science is a really big topic that there are some misunderstood aspects.
Yes, definitely.
Sometimes people confuse computer science with ICT, so we will be going into specifically what computer science is.
And why you could choose it, and what you will study, and we will talk about how you will be assessed. Telephone number is 01902 972 150. 01902 972 150. And our WhatsApp number is 07440420432. That's 074440420 Remember, you cannot call on WhatsApp.
So we can quickly, I think we just have a few more minutes, we can quickly see the different things that you can process, go on to after business studies.
Yes.
So this can include accountancy, marketing, teaching, working abroad. This can also be banking, which is the public sector. You can also do business management or running your own business. So I think many of these are like self-explanatory from where the business aspect comes from, and there are so many different other things that you can go into. Don't feel like this is the only options
Definitely
between
not.
like after business. So we hope that we will see you after the break, and we will be covering computer science. Assalamu alaikum, you are listening to Ramadan Radio. I am your teen host Shehreen.
And I'm your teen host, Lybah. Welcome back to our Teens Talk Show. Shall I read you then? Okay. So our WhatsApp number is 074 40 420 432. That's 074 40 42 432. And our telephone number is 01902 972 150. Remember, you cannot call on WhatsApp.
So before the break, we went over art and design. So on art and design, we talked about why you should choose art and design for your GCSE.
We talked about what you will study, and we talked about the different topics that you will study, including art and design, fine art, graphic communication, textile design, three-dimensional design, and photography.
We also spoke about how you'll be assessed. So there are two components. Component one will be your portfolio, which is coursework, which will be 60% of your overall marks. Then there was also component two, which was externally set assignment, which will be 40% of your total mark.
So art and design can open doors for lots of careers. Some of these are theatre designer, animator, interior design, hair and makeup design, exhibit design, and jewelry design.
We also spoke about business. So we talked about why you should choose business. It can open many doors and show you the skills that you never knew you had. For example, running a business, such as managing money, advertising, and employing staff.
And we also talked about what you will study and how you will be assessed. So now we are going to go into our next option, which is computer science.
Computer science has concepts and ways of working that do not change quickly over time, including programming, algorithms, and data structures. A key skill in computer science is computer programming, which is the closest that a student can come to thinking about. It develops logic and problem solving.
So you might be thinking, why computing? Computing helps develop your thinking skills and problem-solving ability. It could be useful for a whole bunch of careers. In job applications, you can use computing GCSE or A-level to demonstrate these skills. ICT skills are particularly useful in any office-based job.
The most important aspects of computer science is problem solving and essential skills for life, because computer solves problems to serve people. There is a significant human side to computer science as well. A few more reasons why computer science could be the option for you are: computing is part of everything we do.
Computing enables you to make a positive difference in the world.
Computing jobs are here to stay regardless where you are located.
And expertise in computing helps even if your primary career is something else.
Computing offers great opportunities for true creative and innovativeness.
Computing has space for both collaborative work and individual effort.
Future opportunities in computing are without boundaries.
So, what will you study? The course is a mixture of both theory and practical program development. Topics covered include problem solving, data, communication, programming, computers and the internet, and the bigger picture. The remainder of these courses consists of developing computer programs using a high-level language.
This program is selected from our possible assignment set by the examination board. The assignments involved system development, life cycle, and producing documentations consisting of analysis, design, coding, and testing. So, on our booklet that we were given from school, there is also a component of computer systems. So this component will introduce learners to the Central Processing Unit, which is also known as CPU, computer memory and storage, wired and wireless networks, network topologies, system security, and system software. It is expected that learners will become familiar with the impact of computer science in the global context through the study of the ethical, legal, cultural, and environmental concerns associated with computer science.
I feel like that's a very big topic because we've talked about that, and I feel like that's really, like, I don't think many people know about how important computer science actually is and how it could benefit you if you don't want to do a job like just office based.
Mm-hmm.
Like we've talked about, it can enable you to make positive differences in the world because everything's technology at the moment. Like,
Yes, and it's because technology is going so far, so quickly.
yeah, definitely.
Just like 50 years ago, there was no such
Yeah,
thing as
exactly.
the internet. And so the way that everything is moving is upwards.
Mhm.
I don't think from now there will be like no internet or no computers.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen at all. And with computing jobs, they're like, as we said, they're here to stay regardless of where you're located.
Mm-hmm.
Because with many jobs, you have to live in a certain area to get the job that you want.
Mm-hmm.
But with computing, you can work from home if you want to.
Yes, and even with different countries, people sometimes think that just Europe and America are the developed countries
Yeah,
which
but-
have this. However, there's like all the countries all over the world have technology
Yeah,
and
yeah.
internet, and it's so important and vital for us to allow low-income countries to actually get to the stage
Yes.
or somewhat the stage where we're at, so they're not completely left out, and it's not like we're in a separate world and they're in
Yeah,
their
we're
own.
all in the same world. And that just shows how computing can make a positive difference to the world.
So with computer science, there's also computational thinking,
Yeah.
algorithms, and programming. So this component incorporates and builds on the knowledge and understanding gained on component O1, encouraging learners to apply this knowledge and understanding using computational thinking. So which is basically the knowledge all about computers.
Yes. But if you think about it, algorithm is used in everything, like YouTube algorithm, like different social media algorithms.
Yes, and I think many people have now know the word
Yeah,
algorithm.
they don't know what it's actually about.
From all the situation that has happened with the GCSEs.
Yes.
There was an algorithm put in place for every student's grade, which is it's like a coded series, and so every student their grade will be put through that algorithm to come with an outcome. And so an algorithm is used everywhere. The whole computer system is
Exactly,
based
yeah.
on an algorithm. So it's only just now I think people are saying algorithms are bad, but
Yeah.
they're one of the most useful things that have come to us.
Yeah, definitely. Because if you do computer science as a GCSE, you can learn more about algorithm and how, let's say you want to become a social media like persona,
Mm-hmm.
you need to know a lot about algorithm on what time to do your posts, what times to do this. Like, it's all important. Everything falls into an algorithm.
Yeah, and especially with YouTubers and influencers, as you've
Yes.
said, there are mistakes and things that happen and things that shouldn't have happened just based on glitches or a misalgorithm.
Exactly.
And so with that, it's really important for you to know and learn how to sort it out. So because your career depends on it.
Definitely, yeah.
And so these aspects are really useful for you.
Like, when you get famous, yeah, you can hire people, but you should know some things about it.
Yeah, to like make your platform more known.
Yeah.
So it says here also, learners will be introduced to algorithms and programming, learning about programming techniques, how to produce robust programs, computational logic, translators and facilities of computing language and data representations. So this is exactly what we've just spoken about, that computer science is so informative and helpful for everyday use. I think now more than ever, in the situation that we're in with COVID, we've used technology like we've never used it before. The way that we communicate, the way we can access, the way that we know that things are open.
Exactly. Who would have thought that we'd be doing online lessons a year ago?
Yeah.
It wouldn't even come to your mind.
And so with this, it's so important that we have more and more people to actually explore the different types of possibilities. I know I was listening to the news a couple of days ago, and they were saying early 2021 there'll be self-driving cars.
Yeah.
And the whole basis of self-driving cars is on algorithms, and it's so important that people do their job correctly and know all the information, because when something goes wrong, it's not the computer's fault, as it doesn't have a brain of its own.
Yeah.
It's the person who has coded that computer.
Programmed it, yeah.
And so that's why, especially with self-driving cars, when it's really high risk, it's so important that everyone knows exactly what they're doing.
Yeah, because when you're making such a thing that does have danger to it, you need lots of people to check it over. And let's say only one person knows about that. Who's going to check that over? Mm-hmm. It won't be safe. It'll take so much longer to actually come out with that product than it would if lots of people knew how to do that.
So now we will go on to how we will be assessed. The theory of computer science is examined over 2 examination papers, each worth 40% of the overall GCSE, and then you will also need to do an additional programming project. So with this, it is slightly similar to the DT aspect,
yes,
where there is theory work, which is also called coursework, involved, which will be 40% of your overall grade. However, there will be 40%, which will be the second paper, and then the 20% will be the additional programming project.
So, like, as you said at the start, I felt like, you know, when you said there's lots of misconceptions about computer science as a subject, because we all do ICT in the younger years. And what do we do at ICT?
So, what ICT is, ICT and computer science are 2 completely different things.
Yes.
ICT works with Word, PowerPoint, Excel, and Access, all the Microsoft programs, and you learn how different components with that, how to, at the top of my head, like things like how to create a master slide, or different things that you can do with PowerPoint. You also learn codes with Excel.
Yeah, which is very important. Like you need to know how to use Word and Excel.
Yeah, and some schools don't give you the option to do ICT, as ours didn't. We did get the option for computer science though. So what computer science is everything we've spoken about. It's coding, algorithm, programming. It's that side of the computer.
Yes.
And so sometimes when people say, oh, I'm going to take computer science, they think of ICT, which isn't the case. I think with our school, what happened is that they taught us ICT and called it computer science, which did confuse many people. However, as a GCSE, it is coding.
Yeah, because we did a few programs where we did like Kodu and Scratch, but that's not what computer science actually is, because there's so many things that go into just making a game, whereas programming an actual computer, there's completely different. But there are a few different similarities, but there are many differences.
So with the assessment, there'll be, as we've spoken about, the 2 papers. So the paper 1 will be computer systems, which will be 40% of the total written paper, which will last 1 hour and 30 minutes. The second paper is exactly the same. It will be 40% of your total, lasting 1 hour and 40 minutes. However, this one will be on computational thinking, algorithms and programming.
Is that one written?
Yes, written.
So they're both written exams.
Yes. So we can go on to the subjects that complement computer science and what courses could progress to it. So one of the few that would come to mind would be maths.
Maths, yes.
And scientific subjects including electronics.
Yeah. Which we will talk about in the later weeks because that's a whole GCSE in itself.
Yes. So with maths and electronics, it kind of makes sense with coding and programming.
Yeah, computers.
You need to really know your numbers to actually go far into computer science. And it's also the same with electronics because the whole computer is based on electricity, the way that everything is positioned with the hard drive.
Exactly, yeah. Something else is that computing, you might think it's all about like maths, but it can also have like a creative side to it where you come out with your own programs. Like it could be games, it could be anything. You program something that fits your creativity and it shows your innovativeness, which you might think that you can't do, but when you learn more about programming, it might come to you naturally.
Yes, so this subject can also lead to A-levels in computing or BTEC ICT or the world of work. So as it says here, all careers now need an input for ICT and computer science workers. This qualification is also needed to the development of independent thinking, time management and personalised learning.
Exactly like how you said, all careers need some computers. But like with me, I'm the one in the family that doesn't know anything about computers. Like if the printer's broken, I'm calling my brother or my sister. I don't know what to do with it. But I remember once where everyone was sleeping and I needed this printed. Like I wasn't going to wake up early and print it. So I just sat there. I was like Googling, what do I do? And then I just tried everything I could think of. And then it finally worked. And the fact that it took me to that point to actually learn how to use the printer, that's just embarrassing. But the fact that I learned that I knew that I could do it, that just gives you a sense of relief that because it's needed in life.
Yeah, and I think it's really nice that now that you know, you won't forget, and that's
now I don't need their help anymore.
Yeah, and that's a really big thing with independence and independent thinking. As you didn't have the people who would usually help you, and so you kind of become dependent on them. And so when that's taken away, you do feel like you're in a position where you're struggling. However,
definitely.
with independent thinking, you can overcome that situation as you did and any other situation. And so as you said, you use Google, which is a extremely big platform for everything and anything, and as technology is becoming so much bigger and wider use, there's so many different tutorials and explanations of how you can do things. But I think once you've done it once, you do remember.
And if you think about it, those tutorials wouldn't be there if it wasn't for computer science in the first place. So everything comes back to computer science in the end.
Another point that was made in the booklet was time management. Now, this is really important because if you're someone who is programming the computer and say it needs to be done within the deadline, you can't keep dragging it on and on and on, thinking that, oh, I can do this bit tomorrow, oh, I'll do this bit next week, or I'll do it then. You should really plan out exactly how you can do it, just because with a plan, everything sits in place. You know that everything will get done. Everything will be done by the end of it. And so with things like this, with big brands, for example, phone brands, let's take Apple. If they need to release something within 6 months, you do really need to put your effort and your time management in place to get that done.
Definitely.
Otherwise, you would probably not have a job there anymore because this has become such a big thing that so many people are interested in, and there'll be people who want to be where you are and they want to achieve that level.
And that comes into place with the skills that you come out of when you do computing, like thinking skills, these are very important, and problem solving skills, because when you have like something wrong with your phone, it's a problem, you take it to the guy, they fix it. See, they're problem solvers in the end, and that's because of how much they've learned on how like the thing they're doing.
And sometimes based on that, when there's something wrong with an electrical device, sometimes it's as easy as you just need to update the software or you need to restart it completely. And these little things can save you a lot of money with doing them on your own, but you must have the knowledge to do so.
Definitely.
So just a reminder that when it does come time to pick your options, you'll have plenty of time and there's no need to panic.
A few tips to keep in mind are:
don't just pick a subject because your friends are doing it. It's your own life.
And don't pick a subject on the spur of the moment or because it sounds new and fun. It could wear off.
Don't pick a subject just because it's taught by your favourite teacher. Likewise, try not to avoid a subject just because you're not too keen on the teacher. There is no guarantee that you'll be taught by the same person.
And perhaps most importantly, don't stress out too much and pick subjects you feel that you will enjoy doing for the next 2 years. And good luck.
So, I think we should go over the key aspects of what we've spoken about.
Yes.
Just so everyone understands.
So, are we going to do from the start of our show or just the second half?
The second half.
Okay, so we've talked about computer science and what we've spoken about on why you should do it. And a few reasons are: computing helps with development, your thinking skills, problem solving ability, and it can be useful for a whole bunch of careers.
We've also spoke about why computer science is a really good option for you, which is computing is part of everything we do.
Computing enables you to make a positive difference in the world.
Computing jobs are here to stay regardless of the place that you are located.
Expertise in computing help even if your primary career is something else.
Computing offers great opportunities for true creative and innovativeness.
Computing has space for both collaborative work and individual effort.
And also, future opportunities in computing are without boundaries.
We've also spoken about what you will study, the different topics you will study in the computing GCSE.
And we have also spoken about how you will be assessed, which is 2 different papers, both being 40% of the overall grade. In our case, they are 1 hour and 30-minute papers.
So our WhatsApp number is 07440 420 432, 07440 420 432, and our telephone number is 01902 972 150. So next week we will continue off from our next episode of our option series. You can listen to us on the Ramadan Radio Wolves app, our website www.ramadanradiowolves.com and www.ramadanradio.net, and our Facebook Live where you can re-watch all our previous episodes.
We hope you enjoy and thank you for listening today, and we hope you are here to listen to us next week.
Thank you for